May the Lord give you peace, brothers and sisters, and welcome to this Lenten reflection. We are already into the third Sunday of this Lent. Today we have the great theme of God as the center and focus of our life. In the first reading from the book of Exodus, we have this beautiful story of Moses as the lawgiver who gives commandments, the 10 commandments. We call it as the Decalogue. The 10 commandments from Moses. We also have a beautiful reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians, where Paul experiences Jesus as the crucified one, while his neighbors, perhaps Greeks and Jews, mock at it. But for St. Paul, he is the power and the wisdom of God. And in the Gospel today, Gospel of John, we have a great event in Jerusalem, namely the cleansing of the temple and the prediction of the destruction of the temple as well as the raising up of the temple, namely the very person of Jesus. The book of Exodus, by giving commandments, Moses wants to unite all the people in and around the commandments. Commandments are the image of very God himself. How does God want to show that he loves you? And how you need to love him back? Through these commandments. That was the idea. These 10 commandments were later explained in so many ways by Moses. In fact, people need to be centered around the 10 commandments. The 10 commandments we can say as a gateway to God himself. And God promises them life. That is more important for us. God promises them blessing when you follow his commandments. In fact, this particular commandments, which are the center of the people now who are in the desert and who are quietly and slowly moving towards the promised land, need to keep them in their heart, in their mind. They need to center their life in and around the commandments. Later, when Solomon builds the temple becomes the center, the focus of the people of Israel, the Jews, until it is destroyed in 70 AD. And now, this temple is Jesus himself, as we see in the Gospel of John. Jesus is in the temple. Jesus has a great concern for this temple. And Jesus realizes temple is the place where you encounter God. It needs to be kept clean. It cannot be a robber's place. It cannot be a commercial place. It is a holy place. Here we encounter God. Here we encounter our brothers and sisters. It's not meant for selfish gain, but rather temple is the place where we worship God truly with our heart, with our mind. Once again, we come to the center of our life in the temple. But here, Jesus goes beyond. Jesus, because he sees these people in a way worshipping the temple itself, as he would say later, that your hearts are far away, only your lips are moving, but your hearts are far away when you are in the temple. You are admiring all the beauty of the temple, but you are not grateful to God. Your hearts are far away from God. And today, Jesus makes this great and daring prediction about his own body as the temple. If you destroy it, if you destroy this temple, God will raise it up in 3 days. Imagine a temple, physical temple built over so many years. Jesus seems to be saying that he can raise it in 3 days. But he meant his own body, as the Gospel of John says. And now, as we are in the third week of Lent, we are called to recognize Jesus as the center. Jesus is the commandment. Moses was the lawgiver. He gave 10 commandments. Jesus, the law itself. Jesus, the commandment itself. Jesus, therefore, time and again in the Gospels tells us, you have heard it saying, but I tell you now. So Jesus becomes not only the new lawgiver, but Jesus is the law. We follow him. And when we follow him, we can be assured that our life will be centered. Our families will be centered. Our parishes will be centered. Jesus is the focus. Jesus is the temple around which we all come. And Jesus is that person who promises us that when we can put all our trust in Him, He will raise us up just like Himself. God bless you and have a blessed Sunday.